So, hello everyone. Thank you, Helen. It's a rain-washed day in Dallas. When the storms moved in last night, I was reminded of a story about Master Momon. In 1246, 17 years after completing the Mumonkan, or Gateless Gate, Momon was appointed by the emperor to establish a temple under the name Protecting the Country Benevolent Sovereign. Sometime later during a drought, the emperor called on Momon to perform ceremonies to bring rain. Instead, Momon sat there in the zendo in continuous zazen. When an envoy from the emperor came and asked Momon what he was doing to bring rain, he answered, silently not influencing. As the story goes, immediately after this exchange, the rains came. Silently not influencing anything. Empty hands, and yet healing. In these COVID-19 era Zazen Zoom gatherings, we've been hearing a variety of beautiful, evocative, healing words from the heart of practice. Words of reckoning, urging us to open our hearts to the world just as it is, to wake up from the delusion of separation, to awaken to an awake world. Most recently, we've heard from Ruslan, Alice, and last Saturday from Helen. Helen began her talk by pointing to the great matter, Zen's clarion call to face death. Without abandoning that call, she turned the question around. Can you face life? Of course, when anyone speaks, we each hear a different word. That's the subtlety, the nuance, the freedom of the Dharma. What I heard in Helen's talk was an invitation to the simplicity, compassion, and completeness of being fully present in each moment of our daily life. Nothing outside it, just this. Can you face life? Face just one thing as it truly is, and your separate self will disappear. Each moment is an opportunity right now. There's a lot to face these days. The simple gifts of daily life, pared down, laid bare by the ongoing practice of sheltering in place. The turbulence of the still widely unbridled pandemic and the epidemic of racial injustice that continues to rage in this country. Can it be that to face just one thing as it truly is will awaken us to the reality of who we truly are? Can this facing, unobscured, undefended, undivided, bring us to the peace, freedom, compassion, and creativity of our native home. Bring us home to this groundless ground, vast and infinitely secure. So today, as a way of exploring this, I'd like to turn to a koan that draws on a saying from a Zen master some 1200 years ago. But it's so current, it seems directly addressed to our time. When the coronavirus outbreak hit, this koan struck as particularly fitting. It's from the Hekigan Roku, or Blue Cliff Record, number 87. Unmon's Medicine and Disease. I'll read the case. Unmon, instructing the assembly, said, "Medicine and disease cure each other. The whole earth is medicine. What is your true self?" Other translations read, "Medicine and disease heal each other, or match each other, or exactly correspond." And sometimes the question is, where do you find yourself? What is your true self? Unman or Yunman is familiar to many of us. He lived in the late 10th century. 18 koans in the Hekigan Roku, or Blue Cliff Record, come from Unman, more than any other ancestor in that collection. He studied with several great masters, including Seppo. The most often cited aspect of Unman's story is his awakening experience with the very severe master, Bokshu. One account says Bokshu would hear the footsteps of a monk coming to the Doksan room, and based on that sound, discern whether or not to open the door. Another version says Bokshu would meet any monk coming to Doksan at the door, grab the monk and yell, "Say it, say it." And if the monk didn't speak immediately, Bokshu would shove him away. Unman was intent. He went to Doksan twice without being admitted. The third time, the door was slightly opened. Unman stuck his leg inside. Bokshu grabbed him and said, "Speak, speak." When Unman hesitated, Bokshu shoved him out the door, slammed the iron gate, and caught Unman's leg in it, breaking it. Pain. Unman, it is said, was instantly awakened. Everything shattered. Apparently, it was a serious fracture that never fully healed. According to one account, for the rest of his life, Unman sat on the raised platform with his mangled leg dangling down. When he was about to die, Unman assembled his monks and gave a talk, his final talk, that ended with the line, "Coming and going is continuous. I must be on my way." He pulled his dangling leg up into full lotus posture and died. Medicine and disease cure each other. Medicine and sickness correspond to one another. We all have some knowledge of the intermingling of medicine and disease. Vaccines that save lives are antidotes made of the very germs that can kill us. And who hasn't had an illness or a deep sense of brokenness that has opened the way to healing, that may have been the fulcrum or interrupt that put our feet on this path? How fitting now, when scientists and the medical community are racing to find a vaccine for the coronavirus, when the Black Lives Matter movement has swelled into a global cry to dismantle death-dealing systems of racism and to legislate change. Virus is the disease. Virus is the cure. The cry of violence is the disease. The cry is the medicine. Medicine and disease heal each other. If you're practicing with mu, mu is the disease. Why can't I see? Searching, searching. I'll never get this. Mu is the medicine. Nothing but mu. One gift of this quarantine time, isolation, is the increase in other forms of communication. Alongside the viral contagion, it's like there's a contagion of creativity. I've received poems, articles, links to talks, and ways to take action sent by friends, colleagues, students. One recently came in response to the question, what does hope look like now? Hope in this time of uncertainty, loss, violence, despair. If all time is now, this moment, that's it. What is hope? This email began with a quote from Václav Havel. He wrote, "Hope is not the conviction that something will turn out well, but the certainty that something makes sense, regardless of how it turns out." Medicine, disease, now. After the quote, there were links to two articles, one from the activist, scholar, author Ta-Nehisi Coates. 6 years ago, after the death of Eric Garner, Coates said he abandoned hope. Interviewed about what he sees in the current landscape, he responded, "I can't believe I'm going to say this, but I see hope. I see progress right now." Then another link included a comment by a renowned doctor and scientist on the effect of global COVID-19 measures. It was from a report, a study in the publication Nature. And here's just this one line. Dr. Sung said, "I don't think any human endeavor has ever saved so many lives in such a short period of time." This pause has unleashed a fecundity of life in nature. Medicine and disease cure each other. A young woman and earnest Zen practitioner sent an email with a link to a graduation address given for the College of the Atlantic up in Maine by Robin Wall Kimmerer. She wrote Braided Sweetgrass, I've just been reading. Kimmerer is a poet, plant ecologist, and a renowned advocate for Indigenous persons and communities. Her graduation address on Zoom began with a word about medicine. Gratitude is strong medicine, she said. Gratitude calls us into kinship. Our very existence is determined, reliant on the gifts of others. Together we bow to the reality of suffering that has touched every person during these times. Kimmerer goes on to speak about the confluence of certainty and vulnerability. She names this moment in the circle of time when forces of creation and destruction are meeting head on. It's a quote. She speaks of the tumult of letting go of that which does not serve life, does not serve justice. She speaks of the pandemic as a teacher of how deeply connected we are. No one is safe, she says, unless everyone is safe. She speaks about responsibilities and gifts as two sides of the same coin. What is our responsibility? What is our gift? Same question. World full of trouble and need. World full of promise and possibility. The best time to be alive, one of her students told Kimmerer. Wow. Is this the world Unman realized when he quotes Master Hyakujo? Medicine and disease correspond. Then adds, the whole earth is medicine. Unman is not saying disease is good for us or disease can act like medicine. There is no equivalency here, no equation. The whole earth is medicine. Whole, without the slightest gap. One existence. Then Unman asks, what is your true self? A very long time ago, when I was in my late 20s, I became sick with a life-threatening autoimmune disease. The cause was unknown, but the effect meant spending a year trying to stay alive. For 3 months in the hospital, receiving chemotherapy every day, hooked up to a feeding line so the digestive system would have a chance to rest. The disease also attacked muscles. So months later, as healing came, I learned to walk again. I still remember vividly the little step up into the house, my parents' house. The taste of a peach, a first bite of food, when the possibility of eating just really wasn't clear. This disease was awful. And I can honestly say, I believe it saved my life. If nothing else, to this day, it is clear, even on not so great days, that every step, every breath is an expression of gratitude. Still, as miraculous as it was, as it is to be alive, this experience did not bring me to what Master Engo in his instruction, his introduction to this case calls Unman's highest realization. Pain, fear, self-doubt, isolation. With the right conditions, these may lead to empathy for others or to lives of service. If we're lucky, they may drive us to find a path and commit to practice. But to be able to say with total confidence, the whole earth is medicine, requires a leap, an opening, a letting go, falling away. It requires forgetting yourself in the act of uniting with something. It requires what Dogen and his teacher Ru Jing called now leaping beyond any barrier, beyond attachments, beyond our deeply embedded sense of separation. It requires intimately seeing that disease or flaw or lack or obstacle or defense does not just intermingle with medicine, does not just have the capacity to act like medicine. It is medicine. One reality. Once we see it, even a glimpse, then even our sense of separation is fully included in this one body, the whole earth, medicine, the living, moving reality that is you, your true nature without any hindrance. Now leaping beyond. The good news is that leap is a leaping into the wide, wide world exactly as it is, right here, now. There's a famous story from the Flower Garland Sutra where Manchusri, the great bodhisattva of wisdom, asks the pilgrim Sudana to bring him one stalk of medicinal herb. Sudana searches the entire earth and cannot find anything that is not medicine. The whole great earth is medicine. Which stalk shall I bring you? Manchu says, bring one stalk. Sudana bends down, plucks one blade of grass, and hands it to him. Manchusri holds it up and says, this one blade of grass can kill a person and it can give them life. This one blade that is completely empty and at the same time, just this. The sword that kills and gives life, medicine and disease without the slightest gap. The same is said of Mu, medicine, disease, life, death. Really see a blade of grass and you, the scaffolding of that small egoic I. it can't survive. You disappear. All concepts forgotten. Really see one blade of grass, and the whole universe appears. The whole world comes to life. One existence freely functioning. The whole earth is medicine. What is your true self? Look into Unman's question clearly, honestly, and you might come back saying, I have searched everywhere and cannot find anything that is not my true self. Manchusri says, show me, bring me one stalk. If you're Unman, it might be finally pulling your fractured leg into lotus position and in great freedom, total freedom, dying. For us, it may be sheltering at home, caring for others, going out with every precaution, absorbing the news, protesting, donating, being fully there with family or with pets or on your own. Can you face life? Can you face the wall that is facing back at you with simplicity, compassion, and infinite possibility? How fortunate we are to be alive and to have the chance to practice. Thank you.